That's a good thing to do. Is just get the
Yeah.
classic color palette. So if you want to spend
Yeah, that's what
like
I did.
$5 on the game just to get the color palette, that's fine. That's not really a big deal. But I would suggest that you trade with people and sell them rare items and then get plat that way. But as you can see,
Yeah.
you do get free color palettes. I've got a free color palette from Easter, from Halloween. Uh, I've got a
Oh,
free
that's
color
cool.
palette from 4th of July. I've got a free color palette from St. Patrick's Day. I've got a free color palette from Valentine's Day. The Jade color palette is from when Warframe was on Xbox for a year. So I don't know if that's going to be re-released when when Warframe gets its 2-year anniversary. I'm not completely sure, but as you can see, each one is kind of like themed. But the classic is the best. It's got a bunch of different random colors
Yeah.
in it. Whereas you look at the other ones, it's more of like a theme pack, where it's not going to give you random colors per se. So
Hey, more fusion
you don't
cores.
exactly want to do
I can
that
do
because
that.
there's so many different types of warframes that you might want to make look different
Yeah.
colors. Because as we looked at in the codex, there's lots of different
There's
warframes.
quite a few.
Yeah, there is 41 warframes out right now. That includes Valbin Prime that just came out. Technically, there's only 29 different warframes right now, but the number's a little bit higher because some of the warframes have Prime that goes with them. Then, um, oh, we go to upgrade, but we'll come back to upgrade because that's mods. Yeah, then there's your
Yep.
primary, secondary, melee. Then there's your companion. Um, there's different companions in here. As I talked before, there's the Jin. That's got like a See, Jin comes with a poison dart weapon. That's like a infested companion. You might not want to use Jin until you're a little bit better at the game, because Jin's special ability is to cause enemies to be more attracted to you. So you'll fight more people when you have Jin. Uh,
Oh,
Helios
really?
yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Helios is only available in the dojo. He used to be available in the marketplace, but he isn't anymore. Helios' special ability is he will scan people to add them to your codex. So we'll actually
Cool.
go back to the codex right now to look at that. So we might have to bounce back and forth around the ship randomly to look at stuff. So in the codex tab, we're going to want to go to enemies. The little wing symbol means I've completed all my scans for them. So if we look at Corrupted Butcher, it's going to show me that the Corrupted Butcher, he has certain abilities, where he's found. He does blade attacks, do critical damage. It'll also show the mods he drops. That's all those drops mean. But for ones that don't have the little symbol on them, it's not going to say as much. So if we go down to Mutalist Toxic Carrier, you're going to see it doesn't really show me much. It just says 1 of 20 scans. Means I need more scans of that person. Sometimes it'll show you some stuff if you've got a decent amount of scans for it. See
You
if
know
I
what?
can
I think
find
I might
something
try
like
to
that.
sell. I can make some
Okay.
plat myself.
Here we see a Leech Eximus. All Eximuses have a chance to drop the Oberon parts. So right there it says his drops. It says Oberon Chassis, Oberon Helmet, Oberon Systems. So it says I still need one more scan of him. But I'm trying to find one that shows what I'm talking about. Mania. Okay, that... Okay, you see how Mania isn't complete? He's not in the game anymore. But I only have 2 of 3 scans for him. So it's not showing all of the things that he drops. But it does still show his name, his faction, his shield, health. But it's not showing me everything because I didn't complete all my scans for him. Problem is with that is I can't complete those scans because he is a event character, so I'll never see him again. But because of that, I don't really need to know what he drops because I'll never see him again. That also
sucks.
goes with mods. If we look at steel fiber, it's showing it to be
The
maxed
weapon he's
out
got is
because
pretty
in my
nice.
inventory it's maxed out. It shows undiscovered and crawler, which means I know for a fact it drops from crawlers, but I don't know where else it drops, and it does drop from another place. Then it shows Hornet Strike. Hornet Strike is completely all of the scans. So that comes from Boilers, Arcane Boilers, and Toxic Ancient. But we're on the All tab. So once again, these are all the different mods. But then if we look over again, there's mods for Warframe, Aura mods, which we'll go over a little bit later when we go back to the arsenal. Augment mods we'll go over when we talk about syndicates. Primary mods, secondary mods, melee mods. Stance mods we'll go over again when we get back to the arsenal. Then there's X-Plus mods, which we'll go over when we go back to the arsenal. Arcwing mods, which we'll go over when we go back to the arsenal. Then there's Arcwing gun, Arcwing melee. Sentinel mods, which we've talked about Sentinels. Kubra mods, and then cores. So after all that talk about the arsenal, let's go back to the arsenal and talk about mods.
Mods, yeah, this is one
Yep.
spot everybody wants to listen to.
Kubro mods are only going to drop from Earth, and they're only going to drop from Kubros. So when you find a Kubro den, you're going to want to hit it a little bit, and then Kubros come out, you fight the Kubros, hit the den a little bit more, then more Kubros come out, you fight those ones, hit the den a little bit more, and repeat this process over and over again.
If you accidentally destroy the den.
Yeah, you don't want to destroy the den. You want to use a really shitty weapon.
Yeah.
I'll
So tap it one time with a bullet
if your weapon
if it's
is
not strong.
Yeah, if your weapon is too strong, Warframe does have some basic advanced physics, where if you just shoot things around the den, then stray bullets will inevitably end up hitting the den on accident. So it'll damage it little by little. So if you accidentally go in with too strong a stuff, you can do it like that. So then I went over the Kubros. Kubros are the same thing, where they have equip, upgrade, appearance. Appearance, you can change their colors, their fur patterns, things like that. I left him like that because I thought he looks cool like that. He's like blue and white, so I left him like that. That's what this little checker pattern means. It means all of his things are default. He doesn't have any attachments except for the Kubro Prime collar. So if you have the Kubro Prime collar, which is an alternate collar, because the collar it gives you by default is the Tachin collar. So that's just a regular collar it gives you by default. Then there's a Kubro Kavasa Prime collar is the Kubro Prime collar. And this is where you put that Kubro Prime collar on. But once again, it is a Prime item, so you have to farm the Void for it. The reason to actually farm for this collar is it adds plus 10 health, plus 10 shields, and plus 100 armor. And as we went over before, armor is how easily a Kubro takes damage. So you definitely want it to have more armor. This is purposeless armor. This is not the armor I was talking about. This is just a bunch of junk. Don't worry about that. That's plat. Energy colors, which we'll go back over in a little bit when we go back to the arsenal. So energy colors will be under appearance tab of most things. Since my energy color is red, that means when I do an ability, it will have red energy to it. Like for example, a Frost Snow Globe will be the color lightly that you've chosen. It won't be very, very dark. But his ice will be the color you've chosen. His other abilities will be the color you've chosen. You can change those colors. One thing people may not realize is that you can pick a color from one color palette and then go back down and choose a color from a different color palette, so you can mix and match your color palettes. If you don't necessarily have a color you're looking for, you don't have to bind your Warframe to one individual color palette. You can mix and match them like that. You can click the default color option, or you can click randomize colors. Randomize colors is just going to make it look random if you're looking for something goofy. So that's that. And now we get to mods. So we're going to click Y for upgrade. When we look at the mods, these are all the different mods. If I go all the way to the back of this, you'll see there's a mod right here. We'll go with a basic mod you're going to end up running into, which is going to be redirection. Now, redirection by itself is plus 40 shield capacity. Each one of the little stars on the bottom is going to rank that mod up to be more. So, as we can see, redirection is unranked, is what it's called, unranked, when the little lights are lit up. It's plus 40 shield capacity. But I'm going to go back up to my redirection, and this says plus 440 shield capacity. Because all the little lights are lit up, I've ranked it up. The reason some of these are their default color and some of them are green is because if we scroll over one, we can see what it looks like with no mods on it, because you have different loadout on your Warframes. These little polarities are what makes something take up space. If we look at the capacity tab, right there it says capacity, 60 out of 60. If I go to put a vitality on, it shows 12. It's just 12. But if I match this symbol up with the other symbol, then it only takes up 6 instead of 12. If I put it on a symbol that is not the same, but it's still a symbol, then what it does is it actually adds capacity if you mix match the symbols.
Yeah.
So even though this normally takes up 12 when it's by itself, and it takes up 6 when it's matched up, when I mix match it, it actually takes up more space to mix match it. So that is not something you want to do.
You may have to.
So don't throw a mod on in a mix match spot just because you want to have the mod on.
It took me a while to learn that.
So then we'll go to aura mods. Aura mods have special abilities. This one has, I don't remember the exact names of them, but we've got, we'll call it the little corner piece. So little corner piece matches with physique, and it matches with rejuvenation. It matches with, looks like it just matches with, rejuvenation and physique. Oh, and infested impedes. But we're going to go put on the physique. Or actually, we'll put on energy. We'll put on rejuvenation because it's trendy, so she's the healing Warframe. Now, see how it shows 60 of 60? If I put this on, it increases my mod capacity all the way up to 74. So I just added way more because I matched up the polarity. Which means when you do this, if you were to add, let's say I had a rank, if I had a level 0 Warframe, my capacity would be 0. But it would give me an extra 14 capacity because I've matched up the polarities. So let's just pretend that that 60 is a 0, and then I put this on top of it. Boom, we have 14 space. 14 space might not sound like a lot, but if we go down, we can see that that 14 space actually does help, because that 14 space would allow us to put on a maxed out redirection, which means we have a good shield now. And since we'll still have 7 spaces left, because by default we only have 60, I could put something else on there. I could put any mod that's 7 up on there, or I could put a mod that's 14 up on there, and it'll half the capacity. So we have another mod right here, which is a vitality. If I match that up, that's 61, which means I would technically still have 1 space left. But this is a level 0 Warframe, and I've put a maxed out vitality and a maxed out redirection on it, simply because I put a maxed out redirection on there, which gave me extra space. These different loadouts are for the purpose of like a default loadout. I think what the game wants you to do is a different loadout for each enemy type, which is going to be Corpus, Grineer, and Infested. But